What's going on, guys? Welcome back. This is part two of my Baltimore Comic Con haul. And part of the reason that I separated these videos is because, one, I just didn't want it to be like an hour-long thing. But I also know that this video is going to be a little bit more niche, I guess. Anyone that knows me knows that over the last couple of years, I've become a really big fan and supporter of independent, like self-published comics. A lot of stuff you'll find on Kickstarter or at cons, like the stuff that I'm about to show you. And that's what this video is going to focus on. You're not going to find any Image or Dark Horse books in here. It's all going to be stuff you possibly never have heard of, but I think it's important to shine a little light on them. And I also think I just got a bunch of cool stuff and I want to show it off. So let's just jump right into it. First things first, I want to give a huge shout out to my friends over at Lesser Known Comics. So this is the first one I'm going to show off. This is Fennec. It's about kaiju fights. That was enough to sell me. I always want to try to show love to the guys over at LKC because they've been so gracious to me. And that reminds me that as soon as I got to their booth, they loaded me up with all these. I got like 6 here. Just all these ash cans. The minute I got there, he's like, oh, let me load you up with free stuff. Like, I'm pretty sure verbatim that's what he said. He also gave me this, which I believe is exclusive to the con. So that's pretty cool. I haven't gotten the chance to flip through this yet. But, yeah. But these ash cans also, they're just kind of little teasers for all the stories that they have. This one's got like 4 different ones in here. So that's really cool. And I love free stuff. So I wasn't going to turn that down. Up next, from Bad Bug, we've got His Name is Wrath. And the cover, something about this, I don't know if it was the font, I don't know if it's the art style on the cover, or just grabbed me. The dude's got a giant mech suit. And I was flipping through it earlier. There's like a giant monster thing. So I'm easy to please. That was enough for me. And another Bad Bug book is Ragnarok. Yeah. This looks really cool too. I'm assuming these guys are like in a band or something because he's got a little microphone. But honestly, all the electricity and the blue stuff just really appealed to me. There's like a concert or something going on in here. I don't know. I think it looks sick. And the book was a reasonable price, so I wasn't going to pass on it. Up next is The Adventures of Galaxy Girl in Outer Space. I really like sci-fi stuff, and something about the colors on this cover appealed to me. And this is a bunch of short stories. This is the first volume, so it does start with her origin. I believe it's like the pilot, they said. So I'm not usually into like super short stories. I'd rather just one long, like this whole issue be one story. But it still seemed cool, and I wanted to give it a shot. So I'm excited to check that out. And then this is a book that I've kind of had my eye on for a little while, sort of. This is Impossible Jones by Carl Kessel. And I've seen this book repeatedly, like in the Kickstarter space, or Impossible Jones books in general. And this was just the one that was in my budget, so I figured I'd give it a chance. So I'm excited to finally check it out. I believe this is a team-up book with this character. And he said they're all fairly self-contained, so kind of excited to just get a little taste. And yeah, let's say I'll probably find myself buying more of it. Looks pretty cool. Up next is Coins of Judas by Travis Gibb. And this one, initially, like I'd seen it in my comic shop. It didn't really appeal to me, but then when I heard Travis's pitch, kind of caught my attention a little bit more. I decided to buy it just directly from him. It's about like the 30 pieces of silver that Judas sold Jesus out for. So it's got, you know, some sort of like biblical mythology, I guess is the right word. I don't know. But apparently you can buy some like really heinous stuff with these coins, and these people are tasked with hunting it down and tracking the coins and that sort of thing. So I'm really excited to check this out. This one has issue 1 and 2 in it, so nice little bang for your buck. I think he sold that for like $8 or something. It's a steal. Up next is Rook and Knight by Daniel Calvin. I like Daniel's work. I've read some of it before. I did back this book on Kickstarter, but I believe I only got the digital at the time, and I figured I would just show him some support, buy the physical copy. This is a superhero book, but I do forget the premise. I want to say it's like a father-son duo. I could be wrong, but I'm excited to get to this because I never ended up reading the digital copy because I don't find myself reading digitally very often. Well, I mean, or at all, if we're being honest, but digitally especially. Up next is My Neighbor Necromancer. That's kind of a tongue twister. This one looked cool. The guys at their booth were super nice. This girl kind of stumbles into her neighbor's house, and he's like a necromancer, and then there's imminent danger, and then I'm not going to say any more in fear of spoilers, potentially. But I'm excited to read this. I believe issue 2 is on Kickstarter right now. And they gave me like a free print just for backing it at the table, so that's kind of cool. Excited for this. Art looks good. And up next, we've got Frankenstein the Conquered. I bought issue 1 and 2. So this looks really cool, actually. He basically, Wells Thompson is the writer, and Dalton K. Shannon, it looks like. I'm afraid to open pages for YouTube for this one, but this one looks pretty cool. He sold it to me as like Frankenstein's monster meets Conan the Barbarian. So that was enough for me. He just looks like a badass here. So yeah, very excited for that one. That one looks really good. Up next, we've got just a print, because I want to give a shout out to my boy Trevor. I'm not going to attempt to butcher your last name. I apologize in advance. But I'm a big fan of his work. That print is for Area 51, the Helix Project. He's actually been on the channel before, and I interviewed him about issue 6. And then this print, which he personalized, which is really cool of him. This is a variant cover for issue 4, I believe. It's a 6-issue miniseries, and I really enjoyed it. I highly recommend it. And he also gave me this, which is his current series. This is like unused art that he's been kind of using for promo, I guess. This is his current series, and issue 3 of Rise is in pre-launch. So I'm looking forward to that. And because I bought that stuff from him, he gave me this sketch cover of Area 51 Helix Project just because. So I'm kind of thrilled about that. I have no idea what I'm going to put on this, but I will think of something, and if you have any ideas, I'm willing to listen. Up next is Project Neosis, which I personally, and it's not going to be the only time I say this, but I personally think this is probably some of the best art in the indie comic space that I've come across. I'm a huge fan of it. It's very 90s, a superhero, and I am really excited to check this out. This is episode 4, I believe, and he's got a few other, he's got a spin-off, one-shot spin-off, and then a couple other books. So he's got a nice little thing going for him, and I'm pretty excited about this. Like I said, I think the art looks amazing. Try to find a good page. I mean, that's pretty graphic, but I dig it. Up next is Blood Type V by Chris Moses. I've backed Chris Moses' stuff before. He's a cool dude. I was happy to meet him this time around. And I mean, this is a vampire book. It's got the good old-fashioned black, white, and red, which I really like their take on it in this one. So pretty excited to get to that. And the covers is really dope. And then we've got It's Fun to Kill People by Anthony Stokes. It's like a Calvin and Hobbes, kind of like, I think he said Chucky. I forget what else he compared it to. But I mean, I feel like the cover kind of speaks for itself, you know, and I'm always happy to show Stokes some love. So I made sure to pick this up. And I've got another Stoke books here, Tap or Die. And as a huge wrestling fan, I felt like this was an easy one for me to want to get. But in this book, they kind of compete in like augmented reality almost, I think he was telling me. So that's pretty cool too. It is in black and white, but I mean, still, it's pretty quality. I'm excited to read it. There's multiple issues of this. I just don't remember how many. And speaking of Chris Moses and Anthony Stokes, they were on this, which is a mouthful, bear with me. I invested in an international conglomerate and went from an MMA champion to becoming the first ever American Yakuza. And this is from Zion Studios, which I'm also a big fan of, because Charlie over there, he's always been really good to me. The art in here is good. I'm excited to check this out. I know there's more to come, and I'm looking forward to it. Another one from Zion Studios is Night Care. This is probably one of my favorite books that I've picked up, just based on the premise alone. It's about a daycare for superpowered people, so both heroes and villains. Their children are intermingling, and, you know, I'm sure only chaos can come from it. But I'm pretty excited to get to this. And this is an homage cover by Deegan Pecoris, which is the reason that I bought this. If you watched the last video, I bought a bunch of his prints, but he was also there, so I got him to sign this cover too. And yeah, I'm really excited about this one. Another one that I'm really excited for is called Underneath by Tom Stillwell. It's 4 issues, and he had all 4 of them. I think he sold them for like $10. There was no way I wasn't going to just get all 4. But the pitch for this was, there are trolls that live underneath the city, and the homeless people have taken it upon themselves to fight them in inner city Chicago. So that, yeah, the art's good. The pitch, honestly, as soon as he said the homeless people were banding together to fight them, that I basically handed him my money. Up next, we've got Starset Delivery. Nope, not pronouncing that. Anyway, Starset Delivery by Jason Piperberg. Something about this cover looked really cool to me. I like the space dog thing, which is this guy's companion. I like the covers. This is another situation similar to Galaxy Girl, where it's a couple of short stories. Some of them were printed as early as, I believe this says 2012. But he said there's more to come, and I'm kind of excited about that, because something about this really appeals to me. I can't articulate it, but this cover looked cool. That's what jumped out at me, and I like the way it was pitched to me, and I like sci-fi stuff, so that was enough for me to give him my money. Up next is Taft Sturgeon, Holiday in the Stars. I don't know anything about Taft Sturgeon, but David Crispino is the writer on this book, and I read previous work of his, so once again, just wanted to show him some support. I like the cover of this, so I'm curious to check this out. Like I said, I'm not sure what it's about. I guess it's Christmas themed. I mean, dude's dressed up like Santa. But yeah, Taft Sturgeon, very curious to check this out. Next is Trekker by Ron Randall. This is a book that I've seen around Kickstarter a little bit as well. Apparently he started writing it in the 80s under Dark Horse, but this is the first volume of his personal, like, self-published stuff. So he said these are kind of standalone, so I don't have to read the Dark Horse stuff. I'm hoping that that's the case. But I'm excited to get to this, because this was something that I've had my eye on for a while as well. It's just Space Bounty Hunter, Journey of Self-Discovery, more sci-fi stuff. It was an easy pitch for me. And another book, well, I've got a second one here from Ray Comics as well. So both of these are. This one's Joystick Angels #1, and this is Alchemist. He didn't tell me how to pronounce it. But this is a prequel. I already have the other books in this series. This is a prequel to it, Dark History. This is also, in my opinion, some of probably the best art in the indie comic space. I don't know. I really like it. I think the coloring is well done. The line work is good. Really excited to get to this one. Ray Comics. Yeah, no, I'm a fan, because even with this, they know how to pick their artists. And now we're getting down to the wire. The last couple things that I'm probably the most excited about out of everything that I bought. The first thing is Enormous. This is by Invaders Comics, and I know his last name is Daniel, but I don't want to mess up. Tim Daniel. Okay. So yeah, this is by Tim Daniel, and originally this book was printed through Image in this giant, I mean, look, it's bigger than my face. They printed out this giant, or enormous, if you will, book, and dropped it after a while. So Tim brought it to Invaders. Here we are. This is the first 6 issues. And if you couldn't tell by this, there's giant mutated animals running around cities. So it's like Walking Dead meets giant mutated animals. That's basically what the pitch was for me. But yeah, I like post-apocalyptic stuff as well. So this was an easy sell, and the book quality is really nice. Like, it feels like weighty without being like a giant book. Feels very sturdy. The pages are crisp. And I can't wait to read this and buy the second volume, which is already out. Up next is Critter. I don't know what it is, but this is a book that, like, I'm ridiculously excited to check out. I had no idea what it was before I got to the con. I stumbled across the table, passed it by a couple of times, but was kind of like stopping and staring a little bit. And I decided to make the purchase. It's a superhero book, and it's about, I forget her character's name already, or like her real name, but she is like from small town America, used to saving cats out of trees and pulling trucks off the highway, like the side of the road. And she gets recruited by people in California, and all of a sudden, you know, superheroing is a whole different ballgame. Now she's fighting actual supervillains, and she's also trying to maintain her secret identity and this, that, and the other. And he compared it to Tom Hutchison is the writer's name. He compared it to Ultimate Spider-Man in some ways, which is something I never read. I've always wanted to, I know. But that got my attention. Plus, this guy looks really cool, and surprisingly, he's not the villain you'd think he was. But, or is he? But, yeah, super excited about this. And I just found out today, before I started filming this, that the artist is Fico Ossio, and he is probably one of my favorite artists right now. I'm a huge fan of his work on No One Left to Fight. Probably my favorite art in a book ever. And I had no idea that he was in this until, like I said, this morning. And I thought the art was great, so that kind of solidified, validated my thought that I really appreciate his work. But yeah, super excited to read this. I'm probably going to read it as soon as I'm done filming. And then last thing, the thing that I'm probably the most excited about, second most excited about, I already forget what I said, is Tank McGregor and the Cosmic Colossus. This is volume 2 of the Tank McGregor series, and I read the first one about 1.5 years ago, I want to say, and it was probably one of my favorite things that I've read. I was on Near Mint Condition. I had a little segment on there where I was raving about the book as my best read of the year. So I have fairly high hopes for this one. but I'm pretty excited. Love this book, and I can't wait to get to it. So with that said, that's all I've got. I have books all over the place now, but that's cool. Yeah, I mean, let me know if there's anything in here that sounded appealing. Let me know if there's anything in here that you've already read, maybe. But yeah, I'm really excited to get to some of these books. I cannot express that enough. So with that said, I'll let you guys go so that I can get to reading, and I will catch you guys later.